How about Brad Crawford at 247 Sports saying that he believes that Joe Milton could be this year's version of Anthony Richardson? Well, Brad, I wrote that first, but I'm not accusing anyone of stealing. I'm not doing that. But here's what Brad says. I have a feeling Tennessee quarterback Joe Milton is going to be the 2024 NFL Draft version of Anthony Richardson. I had a coach at Michigan tell me without me asking that Milton was going to win a Heisman Trophy in the spring of 2019. Maybe that can happen in 2023. Milton has a cannon arm and incredible athletic traits to fit his 6'5", 245-pound frame. The difference between Milton and Richardson is he is going to have to throw the ball for Tennessee weekly with consistent accuracy while going through progressions in their tempo-based choice offensive system. I like his chances passing it 10 times more than Richardson at this stage. I do too. I think Joe Milton will be a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson was last year for Florida. And so if he matches all the measurables, who's to say he could not only be a first-round pick, but a top half of the first-round pick? That would not surprise me at all, Caleb.
No, not me either. And you're right. It's what you've been saying for a while. I'll give you credit on that. And it's what we kind of have expected. I will say the thing that stood out to me from this little graph was a Michigan person telling him that Milton would win the Heisman in 2019. Because now my mind's going to here. Dave, what type of indictment is it against Jim Harbaugh if Joe Milton is a Heisman candidate this year? Like, say Michigan has defense and running, but they're just missing it at quarterback. Is that going to warm up Jim Harbaugh's seat again?
I don't know that Milton's as big of a factor because I think guys are given a pass nowadays, and I don't think Harbaugh's seat's warm for any reason other than himself. I mean, he made the college football playoff last year. I think that the reason it might be warm is the same reason that Tennessee fans were a little bit turned off by Rick Barnes, is that Rick Barnes seriously flirted with UCLA and was willing to go there. Jim Harbaugh has reached out to several NFL teams by various reports and wants to go back to the NFL. That, to me, would stick in my craw if I'm Michigan's athletic department. I mean, you're looking to leave every single year?
Yeah, I get it. And I think Michigan kind of is aware of how good of a coach he is. And I'm just wondering, though, I think about it from on the field, like, okay, Justin Fuente, let's call it what it is. He got fired in 2021 because Hendon Hooker was balling at Tennessee. That was the biggest reason Virginia Tech fired him, because they were like, you threw him under the bus and look what he's doing now. Milton transferred because I think he had lost his starting job at Michigan. And you start to think, wow, if he balls out at Tennessee this year, a lot of Michigan fans are going to be thinking, how do we let him get away?
Well, but it's a couple of years removed. And the reason I would say that, it's a couple of years removed. So maybe he was immature at the time and he got mature. I just think the transfers on both sides of it, when you look at a Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker transferring, it used to think they were bust at the other place, or they were bad dudes, or they had some issues, but you don't think that anymore. It's completely changed. And I think the same thing should be said for coaches. Maybe there's just not a good fit. Maybe guys don't get along, and with the freedom to leave, they're going to leave. You're going to lose good players to other programs. It's just a factor. By the way, we were asking the message board, a craw. What's a craw? It's the crop of a bird or insect, the stomach of a person or animal. So it sticks in your stomach. How about that? Helping you out. Joe Milton wouldn't have played at Michigan last year, says Travis on the message board.
Well, we didn't really play at Tennessee last year. I mean, until the end when Hendon Hooker got hurt. But I'm just saying, I'm just wondering because, look, I've said this before, and this is on our Instagram stories right now, where I said Michigan is they're the most overrated program in any sport by far. Michigan is the most overinflated program. They have half a national title the last 70 years.
Ouch, it's strong. But crafttreats.com is strong. Crafttreats.com has great, fantastic treats for your pet, and they've got the CBD treats. If you use the promo code off the hook, then you'll save 20%. And what will that 20% give you? Well, with the CBD treats, the chill pills, it will get you a pet that is not suffering from arthritis, that is not suffering from anxiety, that is not suffering from digestive issues. That's pretty awesome. So you can get that at crafttreats.com. The chill pills or any of their fine products. Just use the promo code off the hook. Use the promo code off the hook, and you will get 20% off. It's going to be about his accuracy, Joe Milton. So how soon will we know that they have either adapted the offense to Milton to make him more accurate in the passes that he's good at? And I think those are slants and dig routes. As opposed to how much more accurate will Milton get in the throws that he needs to make in Tennessee's offense, which is going to be the go and the wheel route. So how much do they adjust as opposed to how much better does Milton get? How those factors, judge them for me, Caleb.
I don't think we see the adjustments until week 3. There's no reason. That's when Tennessee visits Florida. There's absolutely no reason to show anything against Virginia or Austin Peay. Those are both fall out of bed wins. Yes, Virginia's a fall out of bed win. I know they're a Power 5 team, but they're playing Virginia and Nashville. You agree, right, Dave? That's a fall out of bed win. Tennessee doesn't have to show up.
Yes, completely agree. You fall out of bed and you win that game, and Tennessee should win that game quite easily, really. And you don't have to show much. Now, if Billy Napier's so detail-oriented, which everybody says he is, he needs to go back to the Orange Bowl and watch, because that was a much different offense than just in terms of the passing tree or what Joe Milton saw. That was a different offense than what Hendon Hooker ran. Not a vastly different. I shouldn't say much different, but they threw a lot more over the middle, which makes me think that they're very comfortable with Joe Milton. Remember this coaching staff picked Joe Milton over Hendon Hooker.
They went out and actively signed Joe Milton when they had 4 quarterbacks on the roster. They targeted him as a transfer.
I can't say this enough times. I mean, that happened. And you can call it a mistake at the time because Hendon Hooker played so great, but maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe they were so close that there are times in coaching, guys. I know we think to ourselves, oh, this is easy. Take Peyton Manning over Brandon Stewart. But there was a lot of debate about that, Caleb. A lot of times decisions are 50-50 or 60-40 in coaching. And that happens a lot. So
I think there's a bigger bias. I have to be honest. I think it was because Heupel himself went and signed Milton and not Hooker.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. If it was a 50-50, you like Hendon and Joe, okay? Then Joe's the guy I picked, so I'm going to go with my guy. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, there are a lot of times when coaching decisions are not an absolute. We often say that. It's just not the case. There are close competitions in camp and close competitions in practice where you might have been about the same with either one. I think you're right. I mean, I think that if that's your dude and you picked him up and he might have gotten some NIL money, I mean, who are you? I'm going to play that dude.
Yeah. It's similar with athletic directors and coaches. But athletic directors are a lot more invested in coaches they hire than coaches they don't hire. Like if you come on board and you're an athletic director, which every Tennessee coach has had to deal with, except for Josh Heupel, has had to deal with the change in athletic directors. I'm sure if you're a coach, you start to think, oh, new athletic director, I'd better watch out.
Amen.